G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome to Steelhorse Station. Hope you are all having a great week as we move into the second half of May. Everything going well here from sunny Melbourne. We're having a purple patch in terms of late autumn weather, so it's very pleasant. Tonight we are heading over to the Oaks, so that's where we should get ourselves organised. If I hit the button there, that should take us into the Oaks, where I was just trying to decide. So we've got a couple of things to do before we can move on. We forgot to deal with the weeds. Or I got distracted last time. So we've got weeds on our oats field. I can turn you off for the minute. And they're big weeds. So I was just getting a sprayer organised. And I think we're going to need some skinny tyres back on here. Twins narrows will do, so we'll customize those, and we might as well repair while we're there. There's no repairs to be done here. That looks a bit better. Oh, let's try picking the weight up again. That'll do. Now we can go around and get the sprayer and head across. Being January, there's not a tremendous amount to do. That's the other thing which we were trying to do. Now that we've gone to 2-day months, I will endeavour to run the streams at 6 times, which will force us to roll a day over in the stream. So we'll just sort of see how that goes for timing. A bit of a suck it and see exercise. So let's fill this. That's got fertilizer in it at the minute, and we want herbicide. So always a little bit complicated to get everything. Why can we not perform that action there? Let's try about here. It won't let me unload liquid fertilizer. Can I unload it? Which tank is which? Pretty sure. What have we got in there? That's the fertilizer tank with nothing in it. That's a fertilizer tank with fertilizer in it. Let's just have a look here for a second at our field situation. So the field we've got to work on is field 68. Now, if he indeed needs fertilizer, which I suspect he does, then maybe what we should be doing is throwing some fertilizer on it first. Interesting. So how come I've got, that's a liquid fertilizer tank, that's a Why have I got 2 fertilizer tanks is my question. I thought I had one. How very confusing. So what I think we're going to do is delete that one. And put in fertilizer, seeds and lime for liquids. So that one will allow us to buy, yeah, that's the one we want. Herbicide. Right. So pop you down there. So that's better. Yeah. Can I unload you there? So the interesting question here is, how do I get that out of there? Interesting. Well, it's proving to be a little bit of a challenge to get fertilizer out of... Oh, there we go. Finally got it out. Now we're good. It was just a keystroke issue. Now, you we want... Well, we need fuel anyway. Now let's see if we can manage to get some herbicide. There we go. Now we got it sorted. It just took a little bit of fiddling around. We can pop that over there. Let's head on down to our field and take care of our weeds. So that'll be an important start to the day while we're driving over. So you can head for field 68. Which side do we want? Doesn't really matter. 68 north will do. And meanwhile, while that's coming across, the other activity that we want to make sure is done before we roll the day is to start this silo compacting. So we've begun and we're at 8%. So it'll take a little bit of time, but with any luck, not too much. Might put a blade on and just smooth it out. I've managed to get the first bit of it reasonably smoothed, which is not a bad start. We're sort of fairly heavy here. Ideally, I'd like a slightly bigger run But it just takes a little bit of fiddling around. Might actually have to do a 15-point U-turn in the bunker here just to get it. I tend to get that block on the front. Whilst it's handy, given that it's 3.4 tonne, it does tend to get caught on the lumps and the bumps. But as you can see, we make modest progress. So we'll fill that hole in without falling down. That might be a good idea. Roller on the back seems to work fairly well. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. As I said at the outset, it was a beautiful sunny weekend here for the most part, so that's good. Fortunately, we have one household member with COVID, so that slowed a few folks down. It got in the way of, it was Australia New Zealand Mother's Day yesterday, so all our Mother's Day activities were conducted electronically. Thankfully my parents are fairly tech savvy these days, so one of the things about COVID is that I've introduced them all into the whole video conference way of doing things, which was a new experience there for a while. So this doesn't seem to be going too badly. Not my favourite job in the world necessarily. And I do find once you get it levelled out, course play does work fairly well. Only gets stuck every now and again. I'm sure as we advance we could do with a bigger tractor that somewhere in our future, a little bit heavier and maybe with the ability to put some dual wheels on it. This tractor's working really well for us, but this is the largest tyre combination I can have on it. And it is a little bit heavier than the Valtra. I did have a look at that before. If we jump in and just have a look at our medium tractors. So the Valtra weighs in at 8 tonne. The Fendt is 11. And then I've got another, what's the roller worth? The roller's good for another 3, and the weight on the front should also be good for 3, which is how we get up to the 17 or almost 18 that we've got here. Really wanted, I guess I could swing the driving direction around, but I think that just gets confusing. So 22% is not too bad. The other thing I managed to do... g'day Mark Haythornwaite, welcome along sir. Great to have you in. Hope your week is getting off to a pleasant start. I was just about to say the other thing I managed to do was a little bit of modification to the sell point at that depot where we sold the eggs last time, so I'm hoping next time we go down there it's not as fiddly to unload. We'll see. Was there golf in your weekend, Mark? Or was it just more paving? So by now, I think I can see our sprayer over there on the other side, so we might go over and pointed up the paving. There you go. Well, that's not quite as back-breaking as the laying it in the first place. Now, if we jump over there, we can... see if we can spread this herbicide. Somewhere around there is a tractor. There we go. So turn you off. Let's drive out into the field. Make sure we don't lose any crop. No, that looks all right. Now, we'll give it a whirl. We don't have GPS on this tractor, so we'll just do it a bit by eye, I think. We're getting a few spot fires there, so we should get some dead, yep, some dead weeds which help us understand where we're going. Yes, fog I always found, especially early morning fog, so you got sort of that dull light to start with, and whilst there's something to be said for hitting the ball out of sight off the first tee, it's not always conducive to a good game. I finally mixed a batch of mortar and set about fixing the pointing on some tiles I replaced a few weeks ago that I'd not done properly, so that was my weekend chore. Yes. Yes, I didn't think about that. The people in range problem. That just makes for a slow overall day. Speaking of slow overall days, this one could be fairly slow also. We're not using much herbicide, but neither are we going particularly quickly. So you can see there that the spot spraying, firing, if I can get a shot, this next cluster of weeds will illustrate it. There you go, bit of a squirt. Don't really need you. Okay. Big field like this is where you get the sense that their clustering of weeds has worked fairly well. So just catching people up in terms of the events of the last few streams. So we did all right on contracts and different activities. We made a bit of money from liming, so we've been able to buy the field to our left, which is full of weeds there. So that's now part of the farm, field 69. We need to decide what to put in it. And the next one we're aiming for is field 28, which is quite a bit more expensive. So field 28's right beside the cow farm at 621,000. Now, that said, if we can get a couple of good planting contracts as soon as the planting window for spring opens, that'll generate some income along with the silage that'll come out of the bunker that I'm in the process of compacting. So pretty confident we'll get nice and close to that figure and should be able to pick that field up in time to stick a crop on it. That's of course assuming somebody else doesn't sow it before we get hold of it. So we'll just have to see, but we will have some decisions to make as to what to put in it. I'm thinking potentially that for this year we drop some corn in it and use the corn for more silage, because we've got the bunkers up there at the cow farm that we could use. Fill up a bunker there and that would go pretty well. And this one over here, I'm tempted to we miss the window for canola, so I'm thinking maybe we drop some soybeans in it actually. Just a thought. Nice high value crop. It is a long wait to sell the beans, but we'll have... I haven't looked actually what the cycles go like on here. Where are we? Soybeans. There they are. I know they typically best price is June or July. Let's try getting the right. Yeah, it's just June. Straight out June. Hey, John. Great to see you. Are you off to bingo this morning? We're just dealing with some weeds. Seeing we allowed these ones to get pretty big. Let's try and reach as far across there as we can. That's a bit better. Well, I hope you have a good call. Now if I do that, that gets rid of that one. Tidy the screen up a bit and we can enjoy this lovely chilly January morning. My grandparents used to enjoy bingo, as did my in-laws. My parents have never sort of gone in that direction. What do we got here? Can we just put a second headland across the top here, and that'll give us plenty of room to turn around, I think. Or do we in fact just do headlands around the field? That could also be the go. Hey, Jason. Great to see you. We're just, as you can see, dealing with the rather extensive weed infestation problem we have here. But we're knocking that off. I know very little about bingo other than the fact that all the numbers have particular mnemonics that go with them. My grandfather used to be quite partial to legs 11 and 66 clickety click, but I suspect they could be very localized. Very good. So I don't know, these are large, so what we could do is turn you off for a second. So we've just killed a bunch out of here. And what's it telling me? Expected yield 74 versus over here. I don't know the answer to your question, and it's not immediately obvious to me. I find that problem where it looks like you haven't seeded happens particularly with I'm gonna say barley, is it? I mean, you get a bit of it here in, what are we in here? We're in oats. No, we're not. What are we in here? What did we plant in here? We've got wheat here, have we? No. Barley here. So this is the barley. Yeah, it is barley. Two little ducks. I'm gonna go with 22, but I don't know why. And I'm probably wrong. Actually, over the last week when I've had a few minutes, I've been watching a new, oh, it's not a new channel, but new to me. You see, it's really scary that I know that, or that I knew that. I have no idea how I know that. I don't believe I've ever actually played bingo, like at a formal game. I played it as a kid. Right, there you go. But yes, I've discovered a British site by a couple of guys whose names escape me, but it's called Cracking the Cryptic. And I'm finding it most interesting looking at some of their content on I probably could. That would require me to do two things. First of all, I'd have to sort out Streamlabs, and I've deliberately stayed away from that because it struck me as counterintuitive to give a bot that I didn't know the origin or the safety of unfettered access to my stream. And I did observe there for a while a parallel between having lots of trouble with people popping in and the use of Streamlabs. So that said, it doesn't mean I won't do it. It's just more I haven't seen the need yet. I reckon I'm just going to keep going around the way I was going. That seemed to be working pretty well. So yes, that would be a first step to getting a Nightbot sorted. I'm not aware of the ability to do one as a standalone. If I could do that, that would be my preference. I was messing with the idea of just sort of taking that thread and running a slightly different direction. So I quite like the idea of having the ability for some not catastrophic but interesting random events to occur during a stream that could potentially be influenced by the audience. And so I was trying to figure out how to do that. A simple way in, I thought, was to have like a wheel, because I can run that out of OBS and just spin it periodically to pick up a thread. So for instance, we might have a stream that, you know, where the clock runs twice as fast, so you just run out of a day. Or you could have maintenance events on particular bits of equipment, breakdowns, those sorts of things. I hadn't given it a lot of thought, but it struck me as potentially interesting way to go, just to add a little bit of variety and unexpected activities. So we're going to get through, we're going to run out of daylight here before we finish this. Yeah, sort of, but without making them. I think the tricky part, as I started to sort of jot down some ideas, was you don't want them to be all consuming. You just want them occasional enough and interestingly enough to, you know, catch you out a little bit, or give you some situation that you've got to deal with. Because you sort of, I don't think I want to be playing a game where you're completely consumed by these random destructive events. Yeah, that's kind of the idea, but what I was more thinking of was to build on that one, John. So rather than lose a whole field, which seems kind of extreme, what if you know, there was a washout, and so the bottom, you know, say the width of you lose the crop in the width of the boom at the bottom of the field. So there's, I don't know, something happens to the soil or something like that. So little things that are annoying and you've got to do something about, but not completely game destroying. Because trying to get the balance right, I think, would be the really hard bit. So it looks like we've definitely got night falling fairly quickly here. Yeah, so it's along those sort of lines, and it's easy enough to sort it out. You can make entries in a spreadsheet and then just have a, you know, I mean, gosh, I'll pull out my D&D 20-sided dice and just see what I roll, but there's plenty of electronic tools that'll roll a 20-sided die for you. And then the other thing was that so it's not fixed, and so you don't necessarily get sort of beset by the same evils all the time. Maybe you could have a list of 50 items, and when one of them occurs, it goes sort of to the bottom of the deck and a new one goes onto the wheels, sort of thing. Yeah, there you go. We might experiment with that over the next few weeks. Yeah, because I do such a good job of keeping track of everything as it is, right, Jason? I could probably put my hands on a low-res camera that and a little dice arena. But you know, I can just do it in my head and just thinking about how I'd set that up. I'd have to have another overlay, and oh man, so many things I could get wrong. Right, well, I'm thinking I don't really need to be doing this in the dark, so what we might do is park off to the side over here and roll forward to the second half of January and then come back and finish it. We didn't quite get that. Just fold you up and pull off to the side rather than park in the middle of the crop overnight. So let's see. Go to the farmhouse. Yeah, there you go. Now you're on the track. So what I just need is those sort of ideas. And if you have one, just drop them in the comments attached to the vid, either singly or as a set, and I'll just compile them into the list and we can experiment. That'd be really cool. Now, let's... What are we? We're in the middle of the year, so there's no point getting up at 7 o'clock. It'd be nice to have things for which that aren't necessarily like a total loss, but for which there's a remedy, but you need to do more work to affect the remedy. And work that you might not be set up to do, or something you're planning to do. You know, that'd be potentially interesting, because then you could sort of tailor some of those to the context of the stream that we're running it in. Yes. Yeah, the weather model isn't as useful as you might want it to be. Now, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the correct vehicle. We'll come back and do that later. There we go. Oh, get out before you unrun. Didn't quite make it. Now I'm just trying to think. There were some interesting mods came out last week. A couple of little ones. I'm just trying to think what they were. Actually, the first thing we need to check, because I wasn't paying attention when it rolled. What did the bank do? Oh no, that looks about right. Cool. See you, John. It's just spending petrol sitting in the yard. It had brought I bought the that tilt trailer just because I thought it would be useful at some point. And as I tabbed through it just then, I realized for some reason it's actually running. I don't know why. We could go over there and fix it, I guess. Let's just pause you for a tick. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so maintenance is interesting. It doesn't... How bizarre. So it won't let me stop the engine. Okay, so that's a interesting mod conflict. So while we're here, this is the portable ramp. If you haven't seen, basically this, if you get into it and what can I do here? I can unfold it and I can adjust its height, and there you go. Got a handy little ramp. And I just thought I really like it as a mod, and it's the sort of thing that's useful around the place in so many ways because it's nice and wide. It's a long run up, fairly flat drop off, and with, in particular, the little Massey, it just increases the flexibility of where we can use the Massey, so particularly loading all manner of different trailers. So that was my thought, and I just hadn't given any thought to where it will spend most of its time set up. But the fact that it's portable, and if I compare this to the vehicle ramps, like for instance, this has got enough height that you can easily get stuff on and off the back of a flatbed. So you can sort of use it like a portable loading dock. So that was my rationale. That's why I grabbed that guy. And what we learnt just then is if you're connected to it, you can't turn the engine off in your vehicle. So that's just a little mod conflict. And let's just, while we're at it, to Mark's point, go and sort out the maintenance on this, seeing that I ran it for a whole day and a night. And managed to cost us a fortune in maintenance. Right. Now there was another mod that I put on, and I'm just trying to remember what it was, that did something useful that I wanted to have a look at. To do that, I have to go here. And can I remember what it was? This won't show me any of the script mods, will it? Pretty sure it was a script mod. And yes, we have a lot of mods on this save now. Can't remember. It was one of those things like, oh, while we're there, one of those things I grabbed and thought, oh, well, we'll put that in the save and we'll have a look at it. Nothing we want particularly. I don't think we want a slurry tanker at this stage, so none of the rest of that stuff is of any use to us at all. Maybe, Jason. Oh, it's not that. I kind of like, I've reduced the overall maintenance costs. I kind of like keeping the gear maintained, and I have noticed on some pieces of equipment there's a big difference in vehicle performance between maintained and not, but it's not consistent. So it's probably got to do with how some of the models are built. Let's turn you off. See if we can finish this. So it'll probably occur to me either today or in tomorrow's stream what it was I was trying to think of. But it was nice to get a bunch of mods released after a bit of a drought there. And there is a new video series coming. So I'm hoping that the first episode will be this week. So I know what I want to do. It's just starting a new series involves a bit of work. So I was waiting for the updated version of the Valley, the old farm, because that's where it's going to be set. And our new character will be Gunter. But to learn more about him, you'll have to catch up with the first episode. I'm going to try and do it a little bit different to the series that I've had before. So experiment with a couple of things. And it's modelled on a blend of a couple of the challenges that Rusty Money Gaming has, not literally sort of additive, but I've taken a couple of the concepts, blended them together and constructed a variation. So hopefully that'll work, but it'll also mean if people want to find it interesting enough and want to give it a crack on their own, they will be able to. And specifically won't be heavily courseplay or auto drive content. It'll be more accessible. Can't say more script free, but because a couple of the things that I want to do require script mods, but generally speaking the challenge itself will be accessible to people playing on console. And that's part of the reason for choosing the Valley to do it on. Right, well this field is looking a lot better now. Where's the edge? That sun's just in a nasty spot to judge. Somewhere up here, I think. I did notice there was an update to the enhanced animal mod, but I'm a bit reluctant to add it. I'm worried about, we've got lots of animals on Newlands and I'm worried about screwing some of them up. And I don't want to have to go back and try and fix it all. Although one aspect of it had some appeal, because I think he's varied it slightly. So one of the options now is animals don't go immediately to 0 health if they run out of food. You've sort of got a grace period in the morning, and then it kicks in more progressively through the longer they're out of food, which strikes me as a far more reasonable way of going about it. This one's looking a bit better. We've got snow on the way. Goodness me. Better get that bunker covered. What we might do having done the weeds on here, might do the fertilizer as well, but we might get one of the kids to drive that out while we do the bunker. I think would be the plan. We'll have a quick look. I doubt that there'll be any contracts. Was there one weed I missed back there? There was, just sitting in the middle of proceedings. Don't think I've missed anything else in the field. We'll have a look at the map in a minute. Just a little stripe over there. Excellent. So stop you. Let's have a look at the weed map. Make sure we've whacked them all. Lots of dead weeds. That's what we like to see. Okay, now, yeah, we do need to do some fertilizer, so let's have a look for contracts just while we've got the herbicide on. Nothing happening. Good. So we'll run you out of here with any luck. Oh, that's the other thing we need to do, is sell straw bales. Pretty sure we've got tons. Let's send you back to Equipment Park 2. Where's our favourite tool? 637. We do indeed have tons of straw, even though we've probably just missed the best price, but we want to be doing that. That trailer is really annoying for the landy, so we want a truck. With a flatbed. So a truck with a flatbed looks like this guy. Let's see here. Cows have got plenty of water and plenty of food, so we don't need a mixer for the minute. What we need that was the other thing I was going to do. Fix all these gates so that they open the way that I want. You can go. Let's get some fuel before you go anywhere, and that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So I'll show you in a sec how I want to do it. You need to go to main yard. So I want to tailor the gates for situations. So the standard gate config for animation opens them to 90 degrees. I added a version which makes it out to about 105. So I want to, in effect, copy this gate and change the animation so that the right side opens back to, what's it going to be, 220 degrees. So it'll come in along this fence. So that involves two things. You've got to go into GE and select the gate. I won't do it right now because we'd have to shut everything down, but I will answer your question if I can find it. Workbench map, the Oaks. So if we go to there, now I've just got to remember where it is. I don't want to do that. In data, no, it's not in data. It's in animations, which is in placeables. Scripts. No. Gate. That's not where it is, I don't think. Roads, sheds, silos, grain gates. What I'm looking for is the directory with all the animations in it. Maybe it's in prefab. Access barrier signs. Not always. That's why I'm just trying to remember where it's not in there. No, so I can say for certain that you definitely don't need Blender. Oh, here we go. So you need this animated objects file. Right, and what you'll find in this animated objects file is all of the animated objects, and they have a name and an animation or some animation parameters. And so all I did was create which one? Shed door double. You basically just create the animation that you want, and I'm just trying to look for the one that I changed as the example. Here we go, double gate wide was mine. So I just created a new object called double gate wide. Ah, sorry. I created a new object called double gate wide. So I'm in a file called animated objects XML, which is in the, so it's part of the map directory, and it's in the XML folder under the Oaks. All right. So in here, in order to do what I just described or showed for my gate, I need to create a new one of these, which then has the correct node. So in this particular gate, the gate that I'm talking about is nodes 2 and 3. And I need them to open. I need node 3, I think, is probably the right-hand one. So I need it to go minus 220 and leave the other one at 110 for argument's sake. So all you're doing is changing this to match the action that you want. And then you've got to go into editor in the map itself and duplicate the gate, because the gate that's showing in the map, so this gate object is probably a standard object that appears multiple times. So you need to make it a unique object and then change its XML to point to the animation object you just created, and that XML, that reference is done inside GE. So when I've done it, I will show you, but it doesn't require, it's actually quite straightforward once you know all of the pieces. Like it's only a relatively few changes and quite easy to do. And then what you can do is obviously have gates that are tailored for the specific situations. So here, for instance, you know, you would fold this gate back to the 45. Right, this one might have to smooth it out a bit, but you might fold this back to the 45 as well. So there's just quite a few situations where on any farm I've been on, you know, the gate would out of necessity fold back out of the way rather than just have the standard stuck at 90 degrees. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Jason. So that's what the keyframes show you, when things change. So where it starts from and where it goes to. You know, even down to putting a sound attached to it. And the reason there's 3 parts on these double gates is one of them is actually the latch. And looking at it in GE is usually pretty easy to figure out which node is which. So there you go. It is now snowing, so let's go and find out where we're up to. Okay, you're here. Oh, I can't remember. Can you tow this trailer? I've just had a horrible thought. Is the tow hitch wrong? Oh no, the wheel folds up enough, that's all right. So we'll do that after. Don't need you for the minute. Yep, snow's inside. I do want to do you. You're the guy that I want. So I want to bring you round. And empty out the herbicide. Hopefully something like, of course it empties out that side. Thank you. Right, so now we can go back the other way. Yes, I will need a better naming convention. At the point when I did double gate wide, it was just obvious that it was a double gate that was opening wider. And I was quite pleased with myself that I was able to change one. Rightio, so let's fill you up with fertilizer. Come on. Where's the trigger? That's better. If I was doing it properly, I'd probably have a naming convention associated with the field and the position. But I don't know if I'm feeling that enthusiastic. It's not like I'm planning to change 10 of them. It's just a couple of the key ones. Now, where are we? We need to send you to 68 North. Worked quite well last time. Is it empty? No, it's now full of fertilizer. I emptied it out of herbicide and put fertilizer in it. Oh, that was the other mod that I like to look at that I'm gonna, or that I have added to the Newlands save, is one that, in addition to the fill indicator, it puts the icon of the whatever you've got, but it also puts some English text next to it, so that makes it a bit easier. Because I figured I'm forever getting confused between the different grass types on Newlands, and so I want to see how practical it is and whether it makes the screen too busy or not. But my first impression is it seems to work pretty well. Getting there. What else would you prefer to be doing in the snow than squashing your bunker? I prefer to be going a little bit faster. Feels like I should get a burst of compaction if it falls, if the tractor actually falls into a hollow or something. Which one's that? And we deliberately haven't upgraded because this is, I just haven't thought about it. Where are we here? Is that this one? That's probably a good idea. We could do that. I suppose what I could do is if I got a tractor over there, I do have a tractor over there. Let's send you to... Oh, there was my other tractor with care wheels on it. Send you to the dealership. Which course are you on? Come on, you can sort it out. Well, that explains a lot, Mark. Actually, that's a really interesting piece of information. So what that suggests, so that might be related to the theory I had in a way to explain what was going on. So so I adjusted the XML for what I've got there. So I think it might be a little bit more complicated than he's deduced. You know, because I think it's tied up with the shovel functionality. In that there is circumstances where the shovel function that lots of implements use can actually pick up more products than the capacity of the implement using the shovel function. But I haven't figured out exactly how that works, and therefore that can create a situation where the implement in effect loses product, and it's not just between saves. So I think it's at least partially a bug with the game logic for shovel. And the reason that I say that is because I was losing product not even within a single game. Like I was losing it while I was just working on it. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's an unintended side effect, except when it, you know, in a bunker this size, like we did a couple of examples where it cost us 30% of the product that was in the bunker. And, you know, for a big bunker, that's a shed load of silage, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. Or $800,000 worth. So but I haven't spent the time to create a definitive example that I could then load a bug report that giants will do anything about. And the other problem with that conveyor is that it had, at least the modded version of it, had multiple definitions of the shovel function within the single operating environment of the... It's a bit hard to explain, but it kind of looked like they overlapped, and I wondered if that created the problem, because certainly when I removed 3 of them and left it with just 1 and then just bumped up the capacity to what I wanted, since then I haven't had anywhere near as many issues with it. Right, we're at 50%. So to give us a good test with this new tool, I'll back out of here. If I can, come on. Submerge. Don't fall in the hole, go over it. That's what we want. So we'll park you there. We'll come over here and... we want square bales, round bales, straw, 25 thereof. And 25 is the most I can take out at once, right? Cool. Now, really, that's what you're going to do with them? Full control left shift U. Let's go layer. Let's left shift I. And now try again. That's better. What? Why will you not put more on there? Bugger. You're just going to be annoying, aren't you? Auto load. Not got you quite far enough over. Righty-ho. Now we should just about get those on. Stop putting them in here. Come on. You're just going to be annoying. There we go. Right. Let's take these up. Whoa. No, I'm having this silly problem. Now what is... This is a problem with this truck or this trailer. I've encountered this before and I've just got to remember how to undo it. I can't. Maybe I've got to. And then that's it. No, that didn't do it. For some bizarre reason, auto load on the trailer causes the hitch to lock. Which now means I can't carry that. It's very annoying. It's a conflict between the truck and the trailer, and I have encountered it before. So I think I need to get rid of the trailer. Yes, I'm not even going to be able to get this load. Goodness knows how many bales we'll have left by the time we get there. Because I can't turn very successfully if I've got the rear straps on. Quite annoying. Right you are. Well, the weather is probably not helping as well because everything's slippery. But we'll get a few of them sold. Yep. Dropped another bale off there. Just like a straw bale breadcrumbs I'm leaving. So something we need to add to the list is a better bale transport solution because we don't have that sorted at the moment. Really? Come on. Oh, that just makes my day. Now can I get these off the... You don't want to unload it all because you're too high out of the trigger. Oh, come on. I did rush that last corner. I wasn't expecting to tip all of them off. I'll get off there. Okay, if you're going to unload out of there. Throw doesn't work for some reason. I've got it. That's another mod conflict that I haven't been able to get to the bottom of. I don't know what's causing it. It's defined. Yeah. I lost 90% of them off the last, literally turning the U-turn here into the shed. And hello, Jason. We got some of them here. We'll go back to get the ones that I dropped back around here in the driveway. A good evening to you too. I hope your extended work week over the weekend was productive. Oh, you got to teach your kids to drive. It's great fun. It's stressful, but it's great fun. I'm of a mind to send this guy straight to the... Do I persist? No, I'm not going to persist with this trailer. This trailer is annoying. I'm going to sell it. And I'm not even going to bother to take it to the what's the name? We've had it sitting there for ages. What am I doing? I'm going to go here. Trailers. It's that one. Sell you. And actually, when we think about it, we had such a poor... The Marshall's a better bale trailer. Maybe what I should do is use the Marshall as a bale trailer and get a little trailer for the eggs. Use the car ram. Couldn't be worse. Yeah, it could be. Don't know if it has straps on it either. But that's okay. What we'll do for the minute, we'll send you back to the main yard. And if we go up to the dealership, no, I have not. I didn't on that trip. So I've got it limited so that it'll only let us have 5 contracts. I didn't figure we needed more contracts offered. What else? I left all of that stuff standard, and I don't have the purchase discount active. I'm not sure entirely how I feel about it. Given that the contracts pay really well, as I said, I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it, so I'm certainly not got a fixed view. But kind of working the logic. So if you did a lot of contract work for a guy, why would he give you a discount on the land value of the field? Yeah, maybe he might give you something, I guess. Sort of a goodwill gesture. What's happening here? Let's go there. So the question is, why has... I did buy there was a second-hand plough came up, a 6-tine plough, which I thought was worth grabbing. What I don't understand is why our other tractor has not arrived here. Because... whoops. We want to get... yes. Now, where are we? Did it? So like, oh, that's not what I want. I'm in the wrong spot. That's why. Let's try again. We want this guy. Was the one, wasn't it? PTO. Is there any difference between... I would have intuitively thought PTO would be better than hydraulic. So we'll buy that. Now the question is, where is the tractor that's supposed to be here? Glad it's not just me then. Why can I not see? Where is my missing tractor? And those ramps that I just tagged through are useless, by the way. The discount also resets on every purchase, so if you haven't also have advanced option for borrowing equipment, it makes... okay. I guess I could see... I'm really annoyed I can't see this done equipment. Why are you not scrolling through all of my tractors? What are you doing in there? That's where you're supposed... You're hiding in the shed out of the snow. That's why you're not at the dealership. Because you just didn't go. Oh my goodness. What are you doing? Pick up the auto drive route I expect, not the one you're connected to. Well, it kind of did. I think what it did was it picked up, it defaulted to a route that was reversing into that shed rather than driving out of the yard, because to be fair, there are a lot of auto drive routes in that yard. Now, where were we? We were moving this truck. Actually, what we were doing was we're going to send you to the chickens to see if the Marshall chicken trailer does a better job with the bales than the one we just threw away. No, don't feel bad. I reckon it's the right answer. Remember, we're going to have lots of silos to do, so if it makes a big difference, this will add up over time. Now, where are we here? We don't want you. He did actually get out. Don't want you. You're on the way to the chicken coop. And you're on the way to the dealership. Excellent. So let's get... Oh, I hate it when that gets caught there. So how many more bales have we got sitting in here? Straw, $4.95. So we definitely want to be selling more straw. Let's grab another 25 bales of straw out of there. Good. Now, we were talking about contracts. So what I'm thinking, if people agree, is that it, rather than just a sort of binary have no discount or a big discount, what if we activate it, but we make it a much smaller, 14%? Well, you don't get many numerical choices. In fact, those number options are terrible. You might have to. Because, I mean, 5% a contract for 5 jobs, that would be a 25% discount on the field, and that strikes me as a lot. I was thinking more like 1% a contract for 5 jobs for a max of 5% discount on the field. I mean, we could do one job giving us 5%, but it just feels like a really big discount. Yeah, it won't be an XML change. It'll be a script change. I think 2% for 5 jobs would be fair, but I can't get 2%. I think we pass because it'll be a script change. It won't be a an XML change. Well, at least I don't think it'll be an XML change. When I've encountered numbers coded like that before, they've been in Lua. What I think we'll go for is I'm waiting for the next contract to come up. Is that one actually? No, it's not. There's no obvious fields that look like they're under contract. I haven't seen a message for a little while, but I reckon we might go for the next auction that comes up. Oh, that's interesting. I never paid attention to that. So the fields change ownership. Oh, goodness me. So that's kind of a bit like a discount lottery. You're almost at the chicken coops. And you're not almost. Oh, yes, you are. You're not far from that. The dealership. Where is this guy? Needs to be. I hadn't paid any attention to who owns the fields, to be honest. Come on, I've lost my mouse. There it is. I'm not sure how realistic it is to do liquid fertilizer while it's snowing. That doesn't strike me as a thing. What do people think? Might have to wait. Is the snow going to stop? Wouldn't have thought so. Nah, snow's with us till after dark. By the looks. That's interesting, Mark. It sounds like it's a really good idea, but it's effective implementation's limited by some of the kludgy mechanics in the game. But we might just wait. Because the guys doing better contracts, it's come on leaps and bounds in the last year or so. Okay, where are we? You're here. So get you out of there. You are stuck on the air conditioner. Let's see if this trailer behaves better on this truck. Oh, didn't judge that very well. The snow will help it stick, or the fur will melt the snow. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess the chemistry. Let's see. Is it going to turn and behave itself towing? Well, so far it looks slightly better. For those that didn't catch last week's stream, we discovered that whilst this trailer has many configurations in the workshop, the bale extension that's on the back remains even in the flat config, which is annoying because it's a collision, and if you try and take stuff off the back of the trailer, it gets stuck. Now, if you go to Putney Main Yard, which is where we want you. Now, we're here, which is good. You've only got a 3-point on the back, so you're taking him. And the next problem we'll have is that you weigh enough to make this tractor wheelie. No, you're good. Excellent. Home, James, and don't spare the horses. We want you to go to Putney Yard delivery. Off your toddle. So you reckon we can spread that fur in the snow? In which case, what we shall do, I'm happy to go with that at the minute. Let's drop you and get one of the kids to sort that out. 1 tool, 2 headlands, start on the center, generate a core. Oh, I don't want you to do that. I want you to I prefer custom fields, deactivated. Right, let's try that again. Delete that. That's better. Generate a course. I would prefer you to turn around less times than that. How are you doing? Yeah, I did. You're right. And that's the one I want. Let's try that again. There we go. That's much better. You should be on first, which you'll find all on your own some eventually. Now, sooner or later, we should have this, just wait for the postman. There he comes. Oh no. That's the truck with the bale trailer. Let's see if you can get in the gate without getting stuck. Not bad. Let's see here. I probably don't have auto load configured on this trailer is going to be the next. I do not. Let's see if we can go and sort that out. which says it's not a universal auto load trailer. We'll see what happens. Yes. I didn't fix it. So what I'm going to do now, I looked at what I did was I changed the sell point at the other warehouse. So we want to customize this guy. So that's the sideboard that's there. It looks like this doesn't support auto load. Which is annoyed link. Oh, did I not add it? I deliberately tried different trailers on here that I don't normally use, which is why I am struggling with them. I could load this one manually, I guess. We might do that on Friday. Yeah, where's this? Why are you not showing me? Something weird going on somewhere. There you go, you're almost home. You'll eventually get there. Come on. I think I can. I think I can. Up the hill. Oh, the other thing that we didn't talk about, so in addition to buying this Field 69, I did soil test it. And so it's got quite a healthy band of loam and sandy loam through it. So that explains the slightly better cover, but also I just paid more attention to the silty clay through here. So we need to think about what crop we want to put into 69. I did float the boat out at the beginning on soybeans, but as Mark quite rightly points out, we've got to wait then till we get the money in. So that is definitely an important consideration. Now let's see here. Exactly. In the future, 70 is definitely a possibility, I think. So let's back you up. You on? Oh, come on. What are you doing there, champ? Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's a bit easier to get in this way. Come on, traction, traction, traction. Okay, let's turn on the silage compressor. We'll lower you down in just a second. There we go. It's feeling like it's a fraction quicker. Yeah, it feels like I put that 5% on faster than I was managing before, that's for sure. Yeah, so there we go, we got 10% fairly quick. Definitely feels like an improvement. Do you know if they're additive, if I put another one on the front, is that going to be more effective than the 3-ton weight that I've got there? Assuming I've got enough oomph to be able to run to. Didn't notice how much horsepower they draw. $165. I have not got enough oomph to run to. So a bigger tractor will come first before we get to that test. But that's definitely an improvement. what I'm thinking is we might, yeah, I am getting it about 1% in each direction. Sometimes a little more. I'm thinking I might leave it there for this stream, and I'll finish the bunker and the fertilizer, and then roll over into February for when we come back on Friday or Thursday evening for our European and North American friends. But for now, I'll be back in 10.5 hours time or so, 9.5 hours time, for Newlands for anyone that's available to join me. We will finally get to the sugar beet contract tomorrow, so that'll be good. And the pigs have bred again as they do, so we've got plenty of stuff happening on Newlands. But until then, hope everyone's enjoyed themselves. I've really appreciated having you all in. Thank you very much. I'll just turn the noise off. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you all next time. See ya.